All right, so for my final challenge, I decided to focus on problem based learning as an appropriate assessment. So, problem based learning is a learner centered pedagogical approach to learning, and it can be done either individually or in small groups. And it's as you can see here, and this diagram down here, traditional learning, students are assigned a problem, they memorize information, and the teacher goes over the steps that they need to use and information to go over in order to be able to solve the problem, as opposed to problem based learning, which is more student active because they're more actively involved in their learning. Students are assigned a problem, they identify what they need to know, and they learn and apply prior knowledge of what they had the problem and newly acquired knowledge during the progress or the process of coming up with strategies and solutions to the problem to solve the problem. The great thing about problem-based learning is it's interdisciplinary, so it doesn't just focus on one subject. It can be used in fields such as law, medicine, and psychology. And the best way to define problem-based learning is it provides complex, ill-structured problems that are rooted in real-life contexts and resemble situations students are likely to encounter in their chosen profession. So these are scenarios or problems that they're going to encounter in the future in their chosen respective professions or even current professions. It doesn't even have to be profession related. It could just be any problem that they have an inquiry about that they want to find multiple ways of encountering and solving the problem. So it's also open ended in that sense because it encourages students to come up with multiple solutions, not just the one traditional solution to the problem. And it encourages students to use critical and higher order thinking skills, which are skills that are going to be imperative in order to develop well rounded individuals to compete in ever changing competitive global market. Teachers during problem based learning act as facilitators and coaches where they guide students through the process as opposed to standing in front of a classroom and just spit out information and students are passively reciprocating, not reciprocating, but are passive receptacles of information the teacher is giving out to them. And problem based learning allows students to participate in small groups and have collaboration, whether it be physically in the classroom or through digital mediums, through learning management systems such as Moodle, VoiceThread, Canvas, and Blackboard. Now, instructors can assess students during problem based learning diagnostically by ascertaining any prior knowledge they have of the problem that they're attempting to solve. This can be done verbally by strategies such as think aloud, think, pair, share, or in written form, such as responses to questions regarding students' understanding of the problem. They can be informed, they can be assessed formatively by instructors passively observing students during the process they go about trying to come up with the solutions to the problems and what strategies they're using. And they can also interject themselves in the middle of students' efforts to solve problems and assess their progress by asking them questions and requesting notes they are taking during the process to see their progress that they're making during the problem based learning, what strategies they're using, what questions or confusions they may be having, the whatnot. Self assessment is also important because students are allowed to self monitor their own progress during problem based learning. It allows them to evaluate their own process, and it allows them to evaluate their own work against standards and learning objectives, to revise, modify, and redirect their efforts, and to take initiative in monitoring their own progress. So they're taking ownership and responsibility for their actions, more so their strategies, their thoughts, and ideas. And one important factor in self-assessment is metacognition, which is students thinking about their thinking. What steps and tools they're using to come up with the solutions to the problems, they're what why are they reaching certain conclusions, what strategies are they using, so they're constantly asking themselves questions, and they're constantly evaluating and reflecting on their thoughts in their heads. And peer assessment's another way that students can be assessed during problem-based learning because they're allowed to give each other constructive feedback. They're allowed to give constructive criticism to each other, and they also allows them to offer suggestions to further develop solutions to the problem. And summative assessment is another way that students can be assessed during problem-based learning, as instructors can assess student solutions to the proposed problem by having them present their results, and they can This would give them the opportunity to enhance their communication skills, and they can share their solutions in written form by submitting a research paper or a student portfolio, or they can even develop a video like I'm doing as such right now, with slides from PowerPoint or Google Slides discussing their solutions. And instructors can even assess students' attitudes and beliefs of problem based learning by having them fill out post assignment surveys and questionnaires. And this can give the instructors the idea of the effectiveness of problem based learning and the possible future use of it going forward in the curriculum. And problem based learning could have a great impact in teacher education, not only to support prospective teachers' learning, but also to help them design and implement learner centered experiences to satisfy requirements of reform based curriculum. So, before they even implement problem based learning in the classroom, teachers themselves need to have the appropriate skill set and background to implement problem based learning in the classroom. This can be done in pre service training or even education in their field, in the teaching field, in their journey to become teachers. Instructors can also assess students' understanding of the skills they use with problem-based learning by developing curriculums and correlating rubrics that are indicative of the needs and the culture of the respective school districts. So these are not just computer-generated rubrics. These are reflective of the ever vast, diverse student population and the culture of the respective school district.